Hello, welcome to day 224 of a daily journey to the New Testament in a year. Today we continue on in the book of Peter, chapter 4, 12 to 19. Let's read the Apostle Peter's word to pilgrims, people who are scattered abroad and being persecuted because of their faith. Beloved, do not think it strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened to you. We're not to be surprised when we go through persecution or through trials. That's just a part of being in this fallen world. As soon as you step out your door, it's raining pain, it's raining catastrophe. But at least we have God's power with us, and we're never to think like something strange is happening. Verse 13, but rejoice to the extent that you partake of Christ's sufferings, that when his glory is revealed, you may also be glad with exceeding joy. We're not to be sadomasochists and rejoice or be grateful that we're suffering, but we're to be grateful and rejoice that we truly belong to Jesus. If you're being persecuted for Christ's sake, that's because Jesus really lives inside of you and he's showing up strong in your life, and people are trying to kill the light in you, or you're convicting them because you're like Christ's presence and they're trying to put a veil over you. And he says, be glad that you really know God. Rejoice in the fact that heaven is your home. Rejoice in the fact that you have the Holy Spirit and grace and potential breakthrough and too many other spiritual gifts to be mentioned. During the hard times, a Christian could either lose faith, become discouraged and oppressed, or they could discover God's grace and joy and peace like never before. It's not easy to do so, but a trial is an opportunity to be filled with supernatural joy and supernatural peace. Yes, we got to be careful because it's also an opportunity where we could quit, give up, become despondent. But he says, be glad and rejoice in the fact that your name is written in the Lamb's Book of Life. Rejoice that you know God, that you're genuinely saved. Rejoice in that Jesus has so identified with you that other people don't like it. Verse 14, if you are reproached for the name of Christ, blessed are you. You're not cursed. There's not something wrong with you. You're actually blessed. For the Spirit of glory and of God rests upon you. The Holy Spirit and the glory of God is shining bright upon you. That's both the reason why people are persecuting you, but also you're at your best when you're making a stand for God, when you're enduring and persevering during hard times. The Holy Spirit of glory is upon you. God is smiling on you, even though people may second guess you and think that something's going on, that you're not blessed, that there's something wrong with you because you don't have ideal circumstances. The Spirit of glory and of God rests upon you when you're standing up during a hard time or when you're enduring persecution. On their part, he is blasphemed, but on your part, he is glorified. The glory of God is on you when you're able to worship God and be filled with the Holy Spirit, even on bad days, even during suffering. That causes other people to blaspheme when they go through hard times, or they're suffering. They get angry at God, blaspheme him, and say disrespectful things. But the Spirit of God is upon you and the glory of God, when even though tears may endure for a night, even though you might get depressed for a while, anxious for a while, yet through it all, you're worshiping God from your heart. You're experiencing the joy and peace of your salvation mixed in with real suffering, with real tears, with real heart pain. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, a thief, an evildoer, or as a busybody in other people's matters. Yet if anyone suffers as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify God in this matter. There's something about suffering that tries to make people ashamed. People might second guess you, like, are you really blessed? Do you really know God? If you know God, if he's real in your life, if you're blessed, why are you suffering? But God says, don't be ashamed. God's going to bless you at some point. He's going to show up and show out, or he's going to bring you healing, or he's going to enlarge your character. Don't be ashamed when you go through hard times, when circumstances are bad. But the time has come for judgment. It's another incentive to persevere and to glorify God during hard times. We're going to see God sooner or later and give an account. So that's also an incentive to stand up under trial, to endure persecution. The time of judgment is coming to begin at the house of God. And if it begins with us first, what will be the end of those who do not obey the gospel of God? Now, if the righteous one is scarcely saved, where will the ungodly and the sinner appear? Therefore, let those who suffer according to the will of God commit their souls to him in doing good as to a faithful creator. But he means by if the righteous are scarcely saved, he means that we're not saved by our own doing good. We're barely saved so to speak, because Jesus is the only reason why we're saved. He lived a perfect life we could never live. He died to bear in his body and get rid of all of our sin, to bring us to God and make us his children, to fill us with the Holy Spirit and seal us as God's, sanctify us, to redeem us. And so in that sense, we're barely saved because we can do nothing at all to save ourselves. And he says, if we, in that sense, are barely saved, what will the ungodly do who flat out reject Jesus? So he says, therefore, let those who are suffering do it according to God's will, committing their soul, all that they are to God, knowing that God is faithful. Friends, I look forward to meeting with you guys again in our next session together as we continue our daily journey to the New Testament in a year. Blessings, and God keep you until then.